Hi everyone, Daniel here from Automotive Talk. I've got my 300ZX registered, back on the road. It's been a long process after the car was stolen, but I'm going to run through how I went about re-registering the car and what my future plans are for it. So I've always really been into the 300ZX. I test drove one about 2005. I was looking for either 300ZX or a Falcon EL XL6. I went and test drove a red 300ZX. I was really impressed with the handling. I've always really liked how they look as well. I ended up going with the EL XL6, I think more for practicality reasons. So then back in 2018, I thought I had the money to get a second car. I'd also bought a BMW M3 E36. I always lost it after the 300ZX though. I got the money together. I went out and test drove this car. Luckily for me, the guy who was selling it had another buyer, but he didn't show up on the day, so I got to drive this. There are a few little issues on the test drive, but nothing too serious. So luckily, yeah, I was the lucky owner of this car. Back in 2018, when I bought it, I only paid $6,400, and I think the prices of JDM cars are really going north at the moment. 300ZX, obviously it's not going up as much as say a GTR for example, or Mark 4 Super, but I think it won't be long before they start to really go up. I think there's a few up on car sales for around $40,000 to $50,000. This is the naturally aspirated version. When I bought the car, it didn't come with a roadworthy, so I got the roadworthy done. The only thing that really needed attention was the rear control arms. They'd been replaced, they were aftermarket units. So got the OEM units put back in, got the car registered in 2018. Purpose of the car, originally I just wanted it as a nice road car, and then I thought I'd really like to have it on the track one day, so I started the upgrades for that. I did 4 track days at Sandown overall, 2019 and 2020. So the main upgrades I did all the brakes, got RTA brake rotors put on it. I think they're 282mm diameter, slotted and ventilated, so they're around the same size as standard brakes, front and rear, but they just have that extra braking performance out of the rotors. Also got Orc HT10 pads, racing brake pads from USA. Apparently they're really good brake pad to use on track, don't get much fade. So I also got a AMS exhaust, I got that delivered from the States, so that gave a bit more power. I think that combined with the Jim Wolf technology pod filter probably combined to make an extra 20 horsepower. On the track, I think that the car really performed better at higher revs, with those two included. The car doesn't have a lot of torque, being naturally aspirated. I didn't really want to go for twin turbos. I think I'd rather try and tune an NA car than go for turbos. Sandown, obviously it's a high horsepower track. The cars with a lot of horsepower obviously blow by me on the straights, but the car handles so well in the corners. I was having, with upgraded brakes, still having brake issues, brake fade at times. I put an AMS master cylinder brace as well on the car. That helped quite a bit, because there's the hard stop into turn 1, into Dandenong Road, another hard stop. So although I've upgraded the brakes, I had that brake fade, so woke up and heard a car start. I thought, yeah, the car sounds pretty loud, but it doesn't sound like the ZX. Next thing you know, I walked out and at the front door, and last thing I saw was the car being driven off. My heart really sank at that point. I called the police, obviously straight away, but I thought at that point, the car's gone. I'm not sure I'm going to see it ever again. The car went missing. It was absolutely heartbreaking for me. I just didn't know whether I was going to get it back. I was struggling mentally. It was a huge loss for me. I didn't really know how to cope with it. And the police at that time really weren't that helpful at all. They were busy with other things. Their priority really isn't stolen cars. So many cars get stolen every day. It's a 300ZX, it means a lot to me, but it doesn't really necessarily mean much to them. The car was also being driven on Eastleigh Concealing quite regularly, so we're in contact with them quite a bit. Again, they didn't seem to really care. They've got plenty of cameras on the freeways, but yeah, as far as everyone was concerned, the car was gone and there were better things to worry about. The car was insured. I had full comprehensive insurance on it, so I got paid out what should have been $6,400. What happens is they take excess out of that and some of your premiums out of that, so I think I lost about $1,000, ended up getting $5,400. Been missing for roughly 3 months, I think it was. So in late April I got a call from the police. They said that they'd recovered the car. It was at a impound yard in Dandenong. So apparently what had happened was the criminals were out driving it. They put on fake number plates. I think they call them cloned number plates. And the police were doing a scan of number plates. Obviously they've noticed that these plates that they had on the car didn't match the VIN number of the car. So they pulled them over. Unfortunately, they got away. The car was recovered, that was the good thing. The car went to the yard in Dandenong. I went and had a look at it. So when I went to look at it, I was expecting the worst. I got there, to be fair, when I had a look at it from a distance, it didn't look too bad. Up close, you could really see what damage they'd done, particularly to the body panels. So there was a lot of small dents and scratches in the body panels. They'd also put what looked like black paint or some sort of tar on the front left 3/4 panel to try and disguise it, or maybe they were in the process of repainting the car. There was also a stripe that they put on the driver's side door to try and disguise it a little bit. So exterior wise, body panels were still pretty straight. It was just, it really needed a good clean up. Looking into the interior was pretty disgusting. Someone had been sleeping in it, using drugs. I think when the criminals were in possession of it, the car had some issues. They replaced the top radiator hose. They did a horrible job of it, but it was replaced. Also the radiator cap. Funnily enough, they also replaced the battery. The battery I had in it was pretty much brand new, so I don't know why they needed to do that. They also hacked part of the exhaust off, the nice exhaust I got. So the back section of that was taken off, probably sold off. I think the middle section where the X pipe was, they couldn't get that off. I think they were using an angle grinder, but they just couldn't get it off, and they couldn't get to the cats to sell them. I was tossing up whether to buy it back, whether to just let it go. The car went from the tow yard in Dandenong out to Pickles Auctions, and it got assessed out there. I got first rights to buy the car back, which was a good thing that the insurer did for me. And the car ended up costing, I think it was $5,000, roughly $5,000 to buy back. The assessor said in his assessment that there was no structural damage. They had their concerns about re-registering the car, but that was because the VIN plates and a few different plates are missing in the engine bay. I spoke to Vic Roads about that issue and they were fine with it, so long as the car had previous registration in Victoria, which it did. I got the money together to buy that back, to buy the car back. Got the car back in about May 2021. Got it off the tow truck, got into the garage, had a look at the exterior. A few things that needed to be done, obviously. It still had all the police dust all over it. First thing was to remove all that. Had writing on the windscreen, had to get rid of that. There's paint on the front 3/4 panel, tried to remove that. Racing stripe that they put on the side, the driver's door, got rid of that. There's a few little stone chips on it, a lot of scratches. The bonnet particularly is really scratched up, so I tried my hardest to remove that. I think down the track the car's going to need a whole respray now. They've just done too much damage to it. In the interior, it was obvious someone had been sleeping in it. There were pillows everywhere. They tried to remove, or they had removed all the trim pieces in the car, trying to look for a GPS tracker, I think. The car in the interior, there was a horrible smell. Although the drug items were removed, it still had a horrible smell, lingering smell that was really hard to get rid of. It still remains today. The car came back with the Oz Racing wheels and the Dunlop Dorita tyres, which was surprising because these items cost me roughly $3,500 all up. So they're the first things I thought that would have gone off the car, but I was happy they were still on the car and not too heavily damaged. Although I had some savings, I wasn't working at the time. I just set about cleaning the car up a little bit. I wanted to replace the items in the engine bay that they'd replaced, so the top radiator hose, the radiator cap and the battery. Although they were serviceable, I wanted to get rid of those things. They reminded me too much of the criminals and what I'd been through. The radio was missing, the ignition cylinder was all busted. The mirror, driver's side mirror, I ordered one of those in, fixed that myself. But as far as the ignition cylinder and the radio go, I didn't really have the expertise to put those back in. I did put the stand exhaust back on. I gained employment in May this year, full-time employment, so that was great. Could set about really getting into restoring the car and getting it roadworthy and registered, getting all those items fixed to the mechanic. So a couple of months of savings I had, and then I took it to the mechanic to get the repairs done. I didn't need much work at the mechanics, so what they did was they fixed up the exhaust, they fixed up the ignition cylinder and ignition barrel, put a new radio in, they put all new fluids in, so they replaced the radiator coolant, put power steering fluid in, engine oil in, so all up it came to about $1,500. But what happened was they got the car on a lift, and although the assessor had said that there's no frame damage on the car, they put it up on the lift and they've seen both frame rails, they've both been pancaked, so they've been a little bit squashed. Mechanic said, I can't issue roadworthy until these get fixed. He's gone and talked to a couple of panel beater friends that he had. One of them wasn't really interested in the work, but the second one was, and it's a guy that the mechanic really trusted. So the car went in to the panel beater, got the frame rails fixed. I'm pretty sure they just fixed the existing rails. I think it would have been far too expensive. You would have had to have taken the whole car apart pretty much to put new rails in. So that set me back another $2,500, I think it was, to get those frame rails fixed. I'm not sure how the frame rails got damaged. They were fine when I had it in my possession back in 2018. Obviously the criminals have done it somehow, or when it's been at the salvage yard, perhaps they've picked it up with a forklift arms perhaps damaged it. I don't know how they got damaged. With the frame rails done, the mechanic could issue a roadworthy now, so I could go and get it registered. It's great to have the car back. Put about 1,000 kilometres on it. I've got the standard wheels and tyres on it that I had from back in 2018. My plan is to go on more Tampa Motorsport events in the new year. I really want to get some new tyres for my Oz Racing wheels though, before I go back out on track, and also get braided brake lines for better braking performance. Although I went through quite a bit of hell when this car went missing, I'm so happy to have it back. It still looks pretty good, as you can see. It does need a respray in the future, but for now, for the time being, just happy to be driving it. I haven't had any real major issues. I've done 1,000 Ks. I still need to fix the aircon and the heating and the cruise control as well, a few other items. But overall it's quite a sound car now. I'm building my confidence back in it again. I wanted to build confidence in it before going back out on the track again. I've bought a steering lock for the 300ZX. Another upgrade I need to do. I really want to get a GPS system for the car now. I really can't afford to get this car stolen again. Hope you've enjoyed my story on the 300ZX. If you have, please like and subscribe to my channel, and please also check out my website, roadworthy.com. Thanks for watching.